Hey there everyone, Matt Heimlich here, back with a little update video for the ANIMAT tools. Let me start off by saying that I know I said that there would be an update last week and possibly even a release. I really apologize to everyone who's waiting for this so patiently. I didn't realize that the feedback from the community would be so overwhelmingly positive, and I'm hoping nobody's too let down by the lack of release at this point. This past week or so, I have been sick as a dog, so I've been more or less bedridden, which has really sucked, and I just didn't have a lot of time to come and make a video and get a ton of coding done. So I apologize for that. I hope you guys will forgive me, and I hope I can make it up to you guys a little bit in the form of this video here. So let me explain the current state of the ANIMAT tools. Shape keys are sitting at around 90 or 95% finished. Most things are working exactly as I'd like them to. Shape keys are working on linked and proxy rigs. If that's your workflow, if you link your characters into a separate scene to do your animations, everything for shape keys works perfectly there. There's one little bug floating around for my shape key workflow, and you might see it pop up in this video, but it's not a showstopper by any means. It's just a little thing I have to kind of hunt down through my code and find out where the disconnect is. Now, people have been pretty curious about the state of the Bones system as well. Bones, at their core, are working. The interface and everything is all set up, and you can transform Bones the same way that you can transform shape keys. However, that said, there is a lot of work that I didn't foresee when I first started working on this that needs to happen before I feel that Bones are ready for prime time. I'll explain a little bit more about what that means as I kind of go through and demo how everything's working. But at the moment, Bones are definitely where most of the work needs to happen. So first things first, I'm going to kind of show off where shape keys are at the moment. Now, if you watched the first video, this isn't going to look that much different, but a lot of stuff has kind of gone on behind the scenes since then. I've cleaned up a lot of the code, I've added some utility functions in, I've tweaked some of the core stuff to make it a little bit faster as well, because my number one goal for all of this is speed. I don't want this kind of bogging down in the viewport. Now, obviously, I can't get around things like the subsurface drawing code, but hopefully when things like OpenSubdiv make it into trunk or master, those problems will solve themselves. So at the moment, if you are working on like a subsurface level 1 or even just a base model, things are really snappy. They are pretty much real time. So let me go ahead and show off that at the moment. Just like last week, it's really as simple as grabbing and dragging around to kind of make the pose you want. You can really quickly make a nice like smile pose without going in and hunting through your menu for the correct shape keys. You can go in, tweak little stuff, give it a little squint, maybe put an eyebrow up. As you can see, really easy, really natural. Just a simple way to go in and kind of make the pose that you want. Another thing that I got working in the past week was auto keying for shape keys. So if I hop out and bring up a timeline, it just checks to see if the auto keying is turned on and inserts shape keys for the shapes that you are adjusting. Now, as you'll notice over on the right in the shape key panel, it looks like there are no shape keys added even though auto key is turned on. As far as I can tell, this is a dependency graph issue. Not much I can do about this, I don't think. But rest assured that they are being added, and if you go hover over the panel and scroll down, you will see that they do update. So let me give an example here of when it won't update. I'm going to hop into ANIMAT mode and hit I to insert keyframe on all current shape keys. So hit I and then escape out. You can see nothing's added over there, but as soon as I hover over the interface, everything updates there. So yeah, that's how shape keys are working right now. A couple other keys that are possibly temporary, maybe what will be in the release version. If you drag a key, decide you don't like the new shape, you can right click and it'll undo to whatever the last shape was. So if I drag down like this and then drag up here, right click, it'll go back. You can hit the R key to reset the pose for that shape key. So I can go in and click and hit R on each zone, and it'll set them all back. This is that bug I was talking about before. It says a key isn't found when you click on a certain zone. Even though there is a zone there, there's something where it's trying to treat it as a bone, obviously, and I just need to track down where it is misreading that. Another key I have is the X key. So if I hit X, it'll reset all of the shape keys on that object. And the last key that I have set for this mode is the C key, which will clear all shape keys. So as you can see, again, it doesn't update until you go hover over. As you can see, all shape keys are clear. So that's where shape keys are at the moment. Again, just a little bug I need to hunt down, but everything else is working correctly. So I can, on frame 1, make her smiling. Then I can switch to frame 5, and I don't know, make her frowning. And everything animates correctly. So with that out of the way, I know people are curious about bones. Bones are quite another monster, as I'm discovering. There's just a lot of stuff that has to be kept track of. So, as I said, at its core, bones are working, and I will show that off right now. Go ahead and grab the arm, and ta-da! I get my bone transforms up and down, left and right. Now, let's take a look at a case where some work still needs to happen. I have the hand set the same way, up, down, left, right, but as you can see, if I click down, it moves the hand up. If I move up, it moves the hand down. This is just as simple as I need to add a little checkbox with a negative option for each of the bone transform things over here in the interface. So it'll be like, you pick your rig, you pick your bone, you pick your rotation, you pick your transform channel, and then down here there'll just be a little negative box so that it knows to feed the negative value into that. So hopping back in, you can see bones also work in a pretty intuitive way, up, down, left, and right, just to change different transforms. One of the main questions I've gotten for working with bones is a question along the lines of, if I have my hand all set for up, down, left, and right to control the up, down, left, and right movements of the hand, how do I control something like arm roll, which is the third axis of that bone? And in that case, it's really just as simple as setting another zone. So for the hand, I have the up, down, left, right set to the hand itself. For bone roll, it's just the wrist. You can set as many zones as you want on your object with as many faces. Technically, you could have as many zones as there are faces on your object. I wouldn't recommend that because it wouldn't be very intuitive, but for things like that where you need the third axis of a bone, it's really just as simple as setting another zone nearby that gets the job done for you. That's how bones are working at the moment. Let's talk about how bones are not working. Obviously, that negative issue needs to be solved. That's a really quick fix, just adding a little negative option to the user interface. A bigger problem that I'm running into is working with rigs in linked and proxy models. This is a pretty popular workflow for working with characters, is to model the character in one file and then link them into a separate scene for actual animation. Unfortunately, Blender's linking and proxy system is not the best. It's kind of confusing how it works, and at its base, it's kind of a hacky solution, I think. So I am going to need to do quite a bit more work to try and figure out how I can automatically get a rig working in both its base file and if you link it to another file. Now again, shape keys work just fine if you link your character into a separate scene. You just work on the proxy model and it works just like it does in its base file. But that is one of the big hurdles I need to jump over for bones. There's also a whole lot of utility stuff I need to do behind the scenes as far as like undo, redo, inserted keyframes and stuff for bone poses. So that is the current status of ANIMAT. A lot of people have been kind of hounding me like, when are you going to release, when are you going to release? This is my current plan and I want to know what everyone thinks about it. I'd like to release version 1 as soon as possible and have it just be the shape key controls. Now, this is already really useful, especially for people who do a lot of facial animation with shape keys. This already speeds up workflow immensely. You no longer have to dig through an interface and you no longer have to search for widgets. I've had a couple of artists who've been working with it so far and they absolutely love it. It's really sped up their animation times and they love how easy it is to just kind of drag and move around facial expressions. So I'd love to release a version with the shape key functionality as version 1, with finished bone implementation in version 1.5 or version 2. So please let me know what you all would think about that. Again, I'm really trying to target animators here and make everyone happy. There have been some great ideas for things to include in the comments after the first video went up. And it's stuff I've definitely taken into consideration, and even a few things I've added since then. Based on the feedback from people who watched that first video. So keep the comments and keep the criticisms coming, because they really kind of fuel me to keep working towards making this as friendly an artist tool as I possibly can. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank everyone for the fantastic response that first video got. It was pretty cool to receive almost universal excitement from the community when I released that video. I knew that this was a pretty cool tool when I started working on it, but I didn't know that it would be something that everyone would be so absolutely excited to have in Blender. So again, thanks to everyone who kind of gave me feedback from there. Thanks to the couple of animators who've been playing around with this behind the scenes for me. And thanks to everyone who kind of continues to follow along with this. I'm really hoping that by the end of this week, if it turns out it's something that people are interested in getting, of releasing the shape key only version, because as I said, shape keys are just about done. So let me know what you think, and if the response from the community is yes, we really want a version, even if it just has the shape key controls in it, I will work to get that pushed out ASAP. Thanks again for watching, and I will hopefully have another update for you here in the near future, depending on what the response to this video is. Thanks.